Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to the Sanctuary. Once again, we're playing Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn as a little bit of a trip down memory lane. Before we continue, let me just recap the rules right quick so that everybody remembers. First and foremost, I am doing all of these expansions as Meteor's job in the promotional cinematics. Or at least his main job. So with A Realm Reborn, I will be playing as Marauder until level 30, in which I will be going as Warrior. All my duties, with the exception of Alliance raids and regular raids and certain side dungeons, will be done through duty support only. I will be using quest level appropriate gear in terms of this run, and scavenge or tombstone accessories only for each of the runs that I do. Simple, easy, effective. Let's move on. So tonight's episode, we revolve around episode 10, the Bowl of Embers. Where we left off, we were captured by the Amalja due to some treachery on Ungust's part. And we do leave off on this. I'm just gonna do New Game Plus. Now, in terms of where we left off, we were... Okay, we've got our background music back. Yeah, there wasn't really anything here. I keep forgetting my UI was like that. Or my HUD was like that before. But anyway, man, there was so much changed. Especially just with the social aspect of things. I mean, come on. Can we just rewind a little bit right quick? Oops. If we just rewind a little bit, we'll see how much just the social menu has changed in the last 10 years. And I will show you on scene 3. So this was 10 years ago. This was our social interaction. Player search, emotes, free company, housing, link shells, the friend list, and the blacklist. And looking at it now, we now have player search, we have fellowship finder, we have emotes still, we have free company still, housing, we have PvP teams, link shell, we still have the link shells, we have cross-world link shells, fellowships, and we still have friends list, but we have context as well, which lets us check out who were the last 50 players we ran dungeons with. Alright, enough reminiscing about that. Let's oh yeah, and that's changed. That's another thing that's changed, the search info. Let me see our search info right quick. Okay, so this is, I gotta come back to scene 3, because if you'll look very carefully here on the search info, you'll notice that a lot has changed in terms of the search info as well. And I'll just show off my search info just for a quick second. Or I'll show someone else's not adventurer play view search info. So yeah, this is the order I somewhat based all of my job and class-related videos on. This particular order has served me well, and has kept me kind of on the straight and narrow. But as you can see, Gladiator was first, and then Pugilist, then Marauder, Lancer, Archer, Rogue, Conjurer, Thaumaturge, and Arcanist. Now, I always saved Ninja for last in terms of my jobs in A Realm Reborn, only because Rogue and Ninja wasn't introduced until patch 2.4, Dreams of Ice. But if we look over here, we can now see how much the search info has changed in terms of appearance. As you can see, we now sort out by tank, healer, and DPS in 3 separate categories. We have so many different jobs now as opposed to the amount we had back during Heaven's Ward when I started streaming. But a lot has changed in the past 10 years. Anyway, moving back to our side-by-side comparison, we are gonna fast forward a fair bit because I do not want to be taking too much time in this, so we're gonna do our party of NPCs and get right down to it. Oh, whoops, I did not do this right. Sorry, folks. I keep forgetting a little setting that I forget to turn off when I'm doing these trip down memory lane streams. Let's try this again.
Lord of the Inferno, hearken to our plea. Lord of the Inferno, deliver us from our misery. O mighty Ifrit, Lord of the Inferno, your humble servants beseech you, grace us with your divine presence.
And thankfully, Ifrit hasn't changed much except for in resolution and video quality, which I hope will translate well when I put this back on YouTube.
O mighty Ifrit, we bring before you ignorant savages who know naught of your godhead. If it please you, Lord, scorch their heathen souls with your cleansing flame and mock them as your own. Bloody hells! Bring those two as well. What's going on? This ain't what we agreed. None but servants of Lord Ifrit may behold the rite of summoning. The souls of unbelievers are forfeit. No! Spare me! I beg you! Pitiful children of man, by my breath I claim you. Arise once more as my loyal minions. Feed my flames with your faith, and all who stand against us shall burn!
I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
Oh, mighty Ifrit, my one true God. Your words are my bread. Impossible. By what sorcery do you resist my master's will? Could it be your soul already belongs to another? Yes, that is the only explanation. Forsooth, thy frail mortal frame can serve as a vessel to the blessing of but one. Yet I smell not the taint of another upon thee. The truth of thine allegiance waxeth clear. Thou art of the godless blessed's number. The paragons warned of thine abhorrent kind. Thine existence is not to be suffered.
All right, let's see how fast we can do this.
My flame shall consume thy flesh and soul both.
Wow, we really took some time to deal with that.
Succumb to the inferno.
Okay, we're going a little bit faster only because we have a decent party instead of... Hey, Juju! Thank you for redeeming the first. How's it going, my guy? Alright, no. Alright. It took us a little longer because I remember, it took us a little longer in the original scene, as I remember Nimi was, I think Nimi had gotten kicked off because of, network issues at the time. Wonder how she's doing. Haven't seen her in ages. But we're pretty much on the same path now that we win. And just about at the same time almost. And my computer lagged like crazy. And there's our well, Juju, at least you're alive. right, so we got crystal number 2.
Pray, forgive my lateness. I was delayed by a congregation of immortal zealots. I swear, it seemed more evangelical than the last. Persistent lot.
Nice.
Phew.
I see the Bloodsworn wasted no time extracting the captives. No less than I'd expect from the Flame General's hand-picked men. As for those two, it is fair to say their hardships have only just begun. They have much to answer for. I feel I owe you an apology, Chris. Had I known this mission would prove so dangerous, I would never have left you to face it alone. You have been given a veritable baptism of fire. But let us continue this conversation in more agreeable surrounds. Camp Drybone, shall we say? This way, sir! So that was the mighty Ifrit. And what a disappointment he was. The readings are nowhere near what I had anticipated, even taking Uldan interference into account. You should know better than to rely upon 5-year-old data left by the 7th Legion. Nor can we expect any form of support from the motherland, given the troubles at court. We have only ourselves to rely upon. Ever the pessimist, my dear Livia. Promise me you'll never change. We've wasted enough time here. That meter of yours is too old to give any reading worth a damn. Not that there was aught worth a damn for it to read. But I take your point. I suppose we must content ourselves with the knowledge that we've achieved our primary objective. Yet, I find that I am troubled by that adventurer's unexpected show of strength. Could such a foe prove a hindrance to our plans? Perhaps. But that is a consideration for another time. You have been given a task. That is your priority. I suggest you treat it as such. Fail to do as my lord commands, and I will spare him the trouble of punishing you. With allies like that, beware a woman in love. I shall need to be on my best behavior. Juju asked how the eclipse was where I was at. Well, I was at work at the time, but it was pretty impressive, all things considered. All right, let's get out of here. It took us a little longer with loading times. All right, now we're back. And I am lagging on because I did this back on my Alienware, which was like 5 years old at the time. All right, let's talk to Thancred. Ah, there you are, Chris. Come, rest a while. You'll have no better opportunity. After witnessing their god's ignominious defeat, the Amalja will be less inclined to risk our wrath. For a time, at least. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I was in the process of apologizing. I do hope you can forgive me. I arrived too late to be of any use. To you or the abductees. They may be whole of body, but the same cannot be said of their minds. For once a man is tempered... but it ill suits me to dwell on the negatives. Amidst all our misfortunes, there is still reason to rejoice. Ifrit is slain, and by your hand no less. That is the deed of no ordinary individual, Chris. Not that I ever thought you were ordinary. On the contrary, I have long suspected that you have the potential to shape the fate of this realm. What can I say? My fine eye for talent remains undimmed. Minfilia will be proud beyond all reckoning when she hears of your deeds. I trust you shan't object to my bearing tidings to her. That way I can claim to have contributed something to this mission. You, meanwhile, have earned yourself a rest. Take some time to relax and return to the Waking Sands when you are good and ready. We can discuss matters in more detail then. Just don't take too long, will you? The realm's problems won't solve themselves. Alright, back to Horizon. Man, I really lagged like crazy back then. I just forget when I actually got sick of playing on my Alienware and just went straight to PS4. Alright, let's take a trip to Vesper Bay. And here we are, Vesper Bay at night. Just around the same time. Alright, Juju redeemed a stretch. Ugh. Okay. At least now that I'm on a decent PC, I don't have the problem of lag anymore. At least not until I have to replace parts. There's your Stola. Oh, shit. Alright, let's not go seeking out everything, so... Ah, the triumphant hero returns. Thancred told us the news upon his arrival. He is presently in the Solar giving a full report to Lady Minfilia. You should join them at once. Lady Minfilia is most eager to see you. Alright. And this is where we got the Dawn wrist guards, if I remember right. My late arrival nearly cost Chris his life. I wasn't there when the Amalja took him prisoner. And I wasn't there when they served him to Ifrit. Yes, by some miracle he survived. But that does not excuse the fact that he should never have had to face such dangers alone. I failed him utterly, just as I'm failing you all.
What's done is done, Thancred. You can ill blame yourself for every... Chris! It is so good to see you again.
Impeccable timing, my friend. I had just finished regaling Minfilia with your heroic exploits.
Thancred has told me everything. You have done well to return to us.
The perils you faced were undeniably great, yet a part of me believes that I had no cause to fear, and now we can put paid to our long investigation. As we suspected, the Amalja undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning their primal, Ifrit.
Nor is the tale limited to Uldar. Similar incidents have been rife in both Limsa Laminsa and Gridania of late.
I dare say you've been curious as to how these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume ether if they are to maintain their presence here. And the stronger they become, the more ether they require. Now, ether exists throughout creation. It flows through all life and permeates the very air that we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of ether. Crystals.
It is for this reason that incidents involving crystals can often be traced back to a primal.
Which leaves us with the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great river of ether.
However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to their gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries serve as a beacon toward which a primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together, or etheric coalescence, which grants the being's physical form. Once born, a primal gains strength from its followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful their god becomes.
But the primals are seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give, and in order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which you yourself were subjected.
Yet even as Ifrit took your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess. The Echo. We know not the why of it, but those blessed with the Echo are immune to primal influence. It is as though a greater power protects us. When first you came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why.
The recent incidents all share a common trait: meticulous planning. Such elaborate designs are a new development, and one which fills me with an unshakable sense of foreboding.
While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of relief at your safe return. The immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so you need not concern yourself with that. We may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Chris. You may be sure it won't last long. Once the people learn the identity of the hero who felled Ifrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself.
Whether she intended to or no, Minfilia neglected to tell you something. Something I think it would be best you heard from one of us. It concerns the tempered abductees that were rescued. I am sorry to report that all are to be put to death,
the flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse. But once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal whom he cannot choose but worship. And so we Scions continue our fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Chris. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Flame General for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Gods forgive me. How many more lives? Louis would never have allowed this to happen. I have to do better. I have to be stronger.
All right, I think we took a break here. Yeah, we took a break here, which we are going to take advantage of to take a break of our own. Juju mentioned that Thancred looks like Vaughn from Final Fantasy XII. Kinda. Honestly, kinda. But more on this trip down memory lane when we return. For now, if you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned for more. If you're watching on YouTube and you like the video, click the like button below and leave a comment. Subscribe by clicking here and click the bell icon for notifications. Click here to watch more, click here to watch the full trip down memory lane, and click here to watch the next episode when it comes out. See you in a bit.